Okay, good evening or good day, because we've got Bjorn Andreas Hansen from Norway. I'm really happy to see you finally, and I really wanted to have a chat with you for a long time. So thank you very much for accepting my invitation to have a
Well,
chat.
thank you. That's. I was looking forward to this.
I'll just say a little bit of about you, Bjorn. You're kind of, for me, you are like a Viking and like a modern days Viking. I came across and your channel accidentally, and it was the best thing, because I liked when you would go to woods, and you would have your chocolate coffee, and you would have your beautiful talks and on Vikings, and really the current situation in the world. It's very similar to how I see it. So people who know me from this perspective, from non-duality perspective, this is not non-duality, but it's because Bjorn is also into Stoicism. It's very similar, it's the same thing. And I find Bjorn, I think that somehow, like in northern European countries, people coming from that area tend to be more open, more maybe honest or more genuine, and they basically speak their mind. Do you think it's the case?
Well, I don't know, but I have sensed that in other cultures, people are much more. They show their emotions a lot more. I think honesty, you know, but you're correct, because honesty is a virtue. It's seen as a virtue in Scandinavia, and I think in similar cultures, but there are cultures where honesty is not very important, actually, and we tend to forget this. But certain cultures in China, I would say some ethnic groups in China, from what I've heard from several people, honesty is not important there. So just to give you an example there. Yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Do you believe it's just because of their government, because they're more maybe communist oriented, and or just the culture?
I don't know Chinese culture that well, but I think the same goes for some other cultures as well. That was the first one that came to mind, because it's been something I've been working on in my videos lately, and also today, actually. But yeah, honesty is extremely important to me personally. I don't lie. I never lie. It's something that frustrates people, but because, you know, people, they prefer you to lie, you know? But I'm always honest. I need to be. It's not because I think I'm so virtuous and better than other people. It's just, for me, something that makes life a lot easier in the long run.
Yes, that is really well said, because it, as much as hard it might you know, sound, and people might not even like it, in the long run, it's a relief. I find it here as well. And people used to laugh in Australia, because in Australia it's very popular to be like politically correct. And when you're honest, and they laugh at you, because they don't know if you're joking or if you're serious. Yeah, so actually, I would like to ask you something in particular, because you are a novelist, not only a Viking, and you've written your 20th novel. Unfortunately, we can't get it in English, and none of them.
Not yet, as per today, as we are recording this, but in the future, when people are watching this video, maybe they are available in English. My agents are working on it.
Okay. Yes, and this is what I'm really itchy to find. What are they about? Can you touch base on what do you write about in particular? Is it like that life back
I've
then?
written many novels, as you said, and the last few years I've been writing historical novels. It's a series of novels about a Viking, a Jom's Viking.
Yeah.
The Jom's Vikings were, I guess you would say, mercenaries, but it's about one of them, and it's his story, and it takes place in the last few decades of the Viking Age. So yes, there's a lot of research, and this is a big project that will involve many novels. I've just finished the fourth in the series, and there will be many more. And yeah, so yeah, the Viking Age, that's pretty much my full-time job now. Yeah.
And you're doing pretty well with that. I've heard, like, you live off that. That's your primary income.
Oh yeah, of course, yes.
In one of your interviews, you said that regardless of society or what they say, you are basically, your children are number one to you.
Which is also something that it doesn't apply to everyone, to every family.
Yeah.
And in certain cultures, children are much more the property of the state, which is a disgusting thing to me, you know. But yeah, my children is the most important thing. My family, that's much more important than anything else.
You are really big on subject of masculinity, and that the guy needs to be like a man, needs to be a man, and which I really agree with. It doesn't mean you have to be like cruel or something. You are still a father figure. That's how I see you saying it. The role has changed. Like the guys have become women, and the women have become. I think it's the same case in the United States pretty much, but I'm not sure if it's the case in Norway still.
It's I've been asked about that a lot, actually, and so I tried to look into it. And the way I understand it, is that there are people, not many, but there are people who are transgender, and you know, it is a real thing for some people. So, and I have no problem respecting that, you know. It's also important to understand that it is listed as a mental illness, actually. So people might not like that, but then again, mental illness is something that affects a very large portion of the population in one way or the other. So the question is, I guess, what happens when you have kids at a school saying, you know, like, I don't know, 20 or 30% of the kids saying they are transgender? Then obviously we are talking about something completely different, which is not healthy, which should not be respected even, because it's obvious that that larger proportion of the population, or you know, are not transgender. That's just rubbish. That's just nonsense. So on one hand, I think we should respect people who are actually, you know, in a very vulnerable position, I would imagine. And then again, at the same time, we need to speak out against something very unhealthy being done to especially our kids. And when you're a kid, especially a teenager, gender, sexuality, and things like that, it is confusing to most people, because you're trying to find your, you know, your identity. And if you have teachers and role models saying that, well, we have all these different categories and just pick one, that's not going to end well, because most people, and most people by a large difference, like, I don't know, 90-something% are straight, and either you're male or you're female, and straight. That's the reality for almost everyone. So we need to keep that in mind as well.
Yes, that's well said, actually, because I just don't know. It just feels to me that in the last few years, it's just too much of everything. Just, you watch the movie and you can see it's like it's in your face. They're trying to provide for everyone so someone doesn't get offended. It's all about not getting offended. And
Yeah.
to me, if you get offended, it's ego trip, or you have a problem, or you need to really speak to someone. You probably need to seek help if you get offended. It's,
I get offended all the time, but
Yeah.
nobody cares about that.
You get all
I could list so many things that offends me, but
you get all the trolls
nobody.
all the time, like trying to pick on you.
No, not the trolls so much, but things like these reality TV shows. I see. I wouldn't have a TV in the house if I was to decide. I would not have a TV, but I'm not alone in the house. So so I see ads or commercials for these reality TV shows. We don't watch them, obviously, but there are these with these young guys, and they're all on steroids and covered in tattoos, and the women or girls, they have their silicone boobs, and they all look the same, and that offends me. Don't show me this. That offends me. Things like that. Yeah. So I get offended a lot, but that's part of life. Yeah.
Well, I kind of, I'd say I'm judgmental like that myself. I'm similar. I see it from similar perspective, because to me, I actually watched a French movie last night. I love French movies. Why? Because the women look natural to me. Like, there was a woman in her 50s, like, had nothing done, It doesn't mean all of that fakeness. Like, as you said, they all look the same. They tell you, oh, you're all different. But yeah, you have the same surgery, especially in LA. Like LA, everyone looks the same.
I've been there. I've been to LA.
Oh, here you go. You would know better than me. Yeah.
Not really. I didn't. I was in a few meetings, and I got lost in the fashion district.
Okay.
I ended up in the fashion district, dressed like I dress. So that was funny. Yeah.
Yeah. How did that go? Yeah. It's basically to me, it's not like you are not a good actor if you have muscles, or if it's not the only, I love actors who are just like European actors. Most of them, they look normal, like, and if you watch German,
it's like,
yeah.
It's that's one of the reasons why I don't watch these Hollywood movies, because you would have, like, let's say you have a secret agent. He's infiltrating some, I don't know, some drug cartel, or the bad guys and all that, and he looks like, and you would spot him a mile away, because he's got this insane, unrealistic physique, and he's wearing these. No, you know what I'm trying to say here. It's so unrealistic, so it's laughable, the whole thing. But that's Hollywood, Hollywood is going down the drain anyway. So yeah,
unbelievable. It is. It's very obvious, actually.
Yeah, it's about time as well.
Oh, it's about time. Yeah. I feel actually for the young girls now, because of Instagram also, and they're trying to match to that, whatever they see over their perfection, without realizing it's all filtered pictures of some women, or it's Yeah, that's another bad thing. Yeah, I didn't have television for 15, 20 years. I just threw it out one day. Because I was muting ads first, they were really annoying, just yelling out and trying to sell you something. And I just threw it out. And it was the best decision ever. At first I was just like watching the comedies, but it was all like less and less. I really started enjoying my life better. And it was really good decision. And actually, I bought it the other day. Someone, made me buy television. So, but what I do on it, I put a screensaver with the fireplace, and I just listen.
Yeah.
I watch the fireplace on it all the time. Yeah. And so anyway, what I wanted actually to ask you, because you used to compete also, you were a champion in you used to lift.
Yeah.
Are you still doing that, or?
Oh yeah, I am, but I'm not competing for the moment. And also I'm getting sort of old, so that's my excuse. But it's I dropped my body weight about 10 kilos because I feel that's healthier.
Yeah.
I wasn't fat, but there's something about approaching 50 and weighing. I think it's, even though if it's muscle, it's still, your heart needs to pump the blood around in your body, and it's healthier to be a little bit lighter, not so heavy. That resulted, of course, in me losing a lot of strength, which was not so nice. So that's I don't like that, but yeah, I have my home gym.
Yeah.
I'm looking straight over at in the yard there. That's my home gym, and so I do work out. Yeah.
And how did you lose? Like, did you have some diet in particular that you just
No, I just stopped eating all the things, all those calories that I didn't want. Okay. So naturally that made me drop weight. So yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
That's the hardest part of powerlifting. That's eating.
Yeah.
You need to eat a lot.
Yes.
And it's not the tasty food, when talking about now.
No.
It's a lot of the food you don't really want. So yeah.
Yes. But good on you for losing all that weight. It's like, I wish I could. In the lockdown, I put on, I was never like this big before, but anyway, and I can't drop.
Well, you're not big now, so.
I was never this big. Like, I was always kind of slim. Yeah. So, yeah. And I was actually going to ask you also about your dogs. You mentioned your dogs before, because you got a couple of really beautiful dogs that you got from Spain, is it?
Well, they came to Norway as rescue dogs from Spain. Yeah. But other people had them before we got them here in Norway for about a year. So they are 3 years old now. And very active. So yeah, we have a girl and a boy, and the boy is he hurts himself all the time, not major things, but minor cuts, because he runs into the vegetation, and he goes crazy out. We have a big yard fenced in garden here, and he runs around very fast. So yeah, he has a cut on his paw now, actually. So yeah, it's nothing serious, but he gets obsessed with licking on those wounds, so we have to cover them up, and he has a sock on his paw, and he likes to pull that sock off. Yeah.
Oh, they keep you busy. What's their name? What are their names?
I have to say, they were named before we got them. So we did not choose the names, but the boy is called Elvis.
Elvis, that's cute.
And the girl is called Feline.
Feline.
Cat-like, but she is cat-like. She's almost like cat in dog form.
Yeah.
And she's yeah.
So she's different to boy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. Oh, they're good fun. They're gorgeous. Yeah, the color, and I saw them on your Instagram, and yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, we got one camouflage striped one, and that's the girl, and we got one white one. So yeah, if we have snow, he's the boy is camouflaged, and the rest of the year the girl is camouflaged. So yeah. Yesterday they spotted a fox outside of the fence, and that was the whole day they were crazy. So yeah.
Good hunters, hunter dogs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they would hunt down and kill that fox. That's the reality, you know. So we need to.
You're not far from the woods where you live now.
We moved here, I think, 15 years ago, and the woods are at like 10 meters that direction.
Yeah.
There. Wow. So we purchased 2 properties so that we expanded our property, which means that we have a lot of land here now.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Yeah.
So it's linked to your property, to your current one. It's basically just expanded it. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's clever.
So we have one almost circular shape now with because we had this part now, and then we bought that part, and we bought that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's very cozy what you built yourself, and you built it so quickly, like your little place.
Yeah, I bought. I built a little cabin, my Viking cabin as well. That was It's not finished yet. I didn't get to finish it before winter, but I'll soon start building and sort out the walls and the roof and everything.
Is it warm enough to be inside now? Like.
Yeah, well, it's very warm, but you need to have a fire going.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, that's good. Yeah, and how is situation now with your country and this virus and vaccines? Like, do you guys you're getting vaccines?
Oh, we are not, but that's why it's so funny. They are saying constantly, you know, the government people before I think it's May, everyone above the 45, everyone older than 45 years will be vaccinated. That's what they're saying. I know they're lying, because if everyone is vaccinated except me and my wife here, that's everyone -2, and that's not the same as everyone, is it?
Yeah.
So we're not getting vaccinated now, and I don't like that they use the term vaccine, but it's not. It's the mRNA and the DNA vaccines are not really vaccines, right? They are synthetic pathogens, so it's I believe they can't be. It's not really vaccine, you know, it's a defined term, medically speaking. So, and these so-called vaccines are not that.
Yeah.
But we are entering a new lockdown from tomorrow, I guess. Yeah, that's what the rumors say. And just to kill off the small businesses. So,
yeah, it was pretty bad here as well, like that. So yeah, we were in like prison, like a prison, but we don't have cases, so it's pretty good now. So we can basically go to gym, and you know, we don't need to wear masks and stuff. Just certain places, even if you go to a bank, you don't have to wear a mask, which is good. But our winter's coming, so we don't know what's going to happen. So yeah. And but for you, you said there is no problem because you are okay, like with your isolation, because you are okay with being isolated because you have your land and your family. That's all you need, and you are okay being alone. Also, you said.
Yes, but I also have kids, so I'm not okay with the situation because it's not so good for them, you know. It is. I'm not talking so much about schools and being home from school and all that. I am talking about the general scaremongering that's going on, and also I'm worried about the standards that we use when it comes to sense and reason and science. We're not. This is not based on proper science. This whole madness. So, and just me saying that will get me in trouble, I guess. That's okay. I can't go through life supporting lies. I just can't do it. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems they're trying to drag us all into it, into the lies, and make us believe them. So yeah, I'm also against the vaccine myself. So, but our government, they think that with us who refuse that, basically we might have to like isolate before, if we want to travel at some stage overseas, because we don't receive people much from overseas, and we are an island, so we can basically, you know, stop it from happening. I presume it's easier for us here to, you know, not to get.
Well, you know, it's there's a lot of things going on that are highly problematic, and I think this is going to play out over 2 or 3 years. The next 2 or 3 years, we'll see what kind of society we end up with. The vaccines, I'm using the term, I shouldn't, but they will not get us out of any pandemic. Not talking in general, I'm not against vaccines per se, but this is not how we solve this. But there's a lot of political pride, there's a lot of money involved. So that's why I'm saying, you know, when we get the 4th wave, that will come in the northern hemisphere this fall. We'll see what happens, because I kind of think that people will not accept being locked down again. And they will see, oh, so the vaccine didn't help. Well, now what? And we will get, I think, at the same time, or maybe later, I don't know for sure, but we will get the side effects and the reports from people, more and more people who are getting sick from the vaccines. Again, using the term vaccine, shouldn't do that, but and this is not me just guessing. I'm pretty sure I would bet money on this. So yeah. So we'll see. It's not going to be over this year. It's not going to be over next year. We'll see.
But you said that probably people who live like near the cities, they should probably move a bit further, or it's going to happen more, because that's the source of, obviously, pandemic, where people are congested. There are too many people near the cities.
Well, from a preparedness standpoint, I think living in urban areas is not so wise now. Lots of people can't choose that, but they because of work and so on. But I am fully prepared. I'm fully prepared for a situation where I'm locked out of a lot of things in modern society. I'm not a farmer, but if I have to, I have bought land to grow some food. And I'm not saying I will be able to, you know, to be fully self-sustained, but I will do my best, and I won't be pressured into taking a so-called vaccine. That's not going to happen. But this is, you know, it's a lot easier for me because I'm in, you know, in a financially and so on in a better situation than most people, and I also don't have a work anywhere. You know, I have work, but I don't have a job anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm self-employed. That's what I'm trying to say, which makes the whole thing easier. It's not so easy if your employer says, "Take the vaccine, or you're fired."
Yeah.
But we should make notes when it comes to which companies are saying that for the future, you know. And we will remember that. A bit like during the Second World War, some companies, they chose to, here in Norway, to support and trade with the occupying the Nazis. And yeah, some people made notes.
Yes.
Some people made notes, so they knew which companies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right, because everyone was saying, you know, things are going to change and it's going to be like a new world. But I thought, oh, I don't think so, because I'll tell you what happens here. The moment we get out of lockdown, we are like sheep. Everyone goes in one place. During the lockdown, everyone used to go in one park. So you go to a park for a walk because we were allowed only 5 kilometers. And everyone was congested in the same area. It didn't make any sense. They don't let you go there, but the supermarkets are full and the parks are full. And now, like, the moment they let us out, all the cars are out. Like, I'm like, I've never seen so many cars on the road. You can't go anywhere. Like, I tried to go to work, like they asked us to go back to work, and I went on my scooter. I didn't drive, and I don't want to catch public transport because I don't want to get, you know, you don't want to risk it because it's so dirty, because people are sick on there. So yeah, I think most companies are not prepared for the changes. And what you said before, it's really right. We should really take notes of these companies and say, here they are, you know, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not going to forgive these companies. I'm not going to forgive these politicians. I am making notes. I'm not saying I'm going to do anything to them. I'm just saying that I'm I'm certainly going to not use their services or buy their products. I'm going to speak out against them. When it comes to travel to other countries, now it's quite obvious that we need the
passport,
vaccine passport to get on a plane.
Yeah.
They can stick those planes up where the sun don't shine.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like those people. It's not, they are arrogant. And I think if you ask me, these people, they don't know what's coming for them, because people will be very angry. At some point in the future, it might get ugly. Not saying I would like to add that I do not support the use of violence, but this is something that it's been so devastating to people, and yeah, it could very well become violent in the future. And
trying to find out from your talks, I like to know what music, because you are into metal music, are you? Because Vikings are, that's their kind of music. Who do you like?
Well, yeah, well, I'm not up to date on metal music at all. I'm still in the 90s, you know.
Same.
So I'll listen to just a few bands when it comes to metal music. I listen to other music as well. I'm not saying at all that I listen to all kinds of music, because I don't. But when it comes to metal, I've always been a fan of Dimmu Borgir. You heard about Dimmu Borgir?
No.
No. Okay. Dimmu Borgir.
Okay.
Check it out. Dimmu Borgir. You like that?
Okay, I will.
And also Amon Amart, our friends in Sweden.
Yeah. Meshuggah? No. Opeth? No.
No,
The new one.
no. Not saying I don't like it, but it's not really my thing, what I've heard. But I'm not up to date. I can listen to the same album hundreds of times, you know.
Yeah.
And now that I'm not alone at the house, so I listen to music in my car.
Yeah.
That's where I get to listen to music. When I'm alone in my car, that's when I'll listen to this music. So this metal music.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I listen to Jethro Tull.
Oh yeah, I love them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so my kids, they ask me why I'm always listening to Jethro Tull in the car.
Yeah.
And I say, well, that's because that's the only music you let me listen to.
Yeah.
Because if I play Dimmu Borgir, they're not so happy with that, you know. So I think, well, I know actually that Jethro Tull, they won some award for best metal album, something like that. Okay. And they were competing against Metallica, which was maybe not fair, but they did. So
wow.
Yeah. I wouldn't say Jethro Tull is metal music, though.
Yeah, it's not that metal. Depends. Yeah, what kind of metal? Like, there's black metal or heavy metal or just
Now, Jethro Tull is kind of, it's like, it's a that's a few. It's a bunch of guys with beards coming out of the woods in England or Scotland. Yeah. And they go into a pub and they play and they sing about fairies and things like that.
It's more old rock, I'd say. Maybe old rock, I'd say. Yeah. Going back to like Sweden, like just quickly, because I know you're running out of time.
No, we have some time. Yeah,
we have some time. Yeah. Why do you think it's different like Norway or in Germany? And I'll go back to, I don't know if you heard about Julian Assange. They laid the charges against him for having unprotected sex in Sweden by 2 women. And to me, it takes two, isn't it? To like these
Julian Assange is very difficult. It's very to know what has happened, what he has done or not done, because obviously, you know, I don't believe anything that any government is saying about him, because he's obviously on their books, not wanted list. They would rather that he died, and you know, because of obvious reasons. So I don't trust anything that is being said about him.
Yeah, same.
Not saying he's innocent, but as I said, you know, it's not trustworthy. Whatever comes from any government about him, it's not trustworthy.
No, absolutely. Like, a few years ago, I got into lots of trouble for being in WikiLeaks party when we tried to get him out. And actually, I was literally attacked by women.
Governments will say what they need to say about him.
Yeah.
And so being a rapist is about the worst thing that there is. So it doesn't surprise me that he gets accusations like that. So again, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's what has been done to him is disgusting. And it's really it makes me sad when I think about it.
Yeah. Oh, it's very sad, you know. It's very sad. Yeah. So just sometimes I say people are like animals, but with a reasoning capacity or unreasoning capacity. That's the only difference between animal and a human animal. Is like we've got reasoning capacity, which can be very unreasoning. So yeah, it's a bit of a mad at the moment. So Yeah. So with because I know you reckon that Stoicism helps in these difficult times, and is there your favorite Stoic that you prefer? That yeah.
Well, Marcus Aurelius, obviously, but it's not. I'm not a classic Stoic. I view this as I've used Stoicism actually as a toolbox.
Yeah.
It's more a toolbox than a philosophy to me. That might some people who are pure Stoics, they don't like that. But that's how I view it. So yeah.
Because listening to these things, do you think would help someone if they have like a mental problem, or if this situation is really difficult for them? Like if they listen to these meditations, like would it help them a bit? Or
Well, I do not subscribe to every aspect of classic Stoicism, because there is this part where you're not, well, this mentality where, how should I explain this, where you just don't care what happens to you. There's a part of that in classic Stoicism. I don't like that. I'm not using the right words here, and
yeah,
people will maybe say that that's wrong, but what I'm trying to say is there is an aspect of not caring here, and I don't. That's not for me. I do care, absolutely. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think about, you also said that like having a mobile phone isn't very healthy for kids nowadays. And do you think it maybe causes anxiety also? Like people are used to checking out their emails all the time, checking out the social media. Do you think it causes anxiety? And
Yeah, well, having a smartphone, I have a mobile phone. I actually have two mobile phones, but I don't have a smartphone. So I have these old-fashioned phones, and you can take out the battery. There are no internet, no GPS, nothing. So yes, I think for kids, especially, having a smartphone is not healthy. I must admit that my kids do have smartphones, and they got smartphones at a certain age, which I now realize was too early. I would not have given them smartphones at that age. It wasn't, we were, their friends had smartphones before they got them, so we were conservative about it, but still, I think it was a bit too early. And if I could choose, they would not have smartphones now.
yeah.
But yeah, generally speaking, it makes you stressed. It stresses you out. And there is also this, and this will become the most important aspect of this. It's the surveillance. People at the moment, they don't understand what that means, and it's difficult to explain it because it is a bit complicated.
Yeah.
But I think it's wise not to give out data about yourself. And if you have been doing that, well, if you have a smartphone, that's what you're doing.
Yes.
Constantly.
Constantly.
So yes, constantly. You can turn it off. It's still sending out data, and some people don't believe that, but it's been proven. So my advice would be to stop that now. And if you manage to stop that and you make some other adjustments in your life, practical adjustments, you will not be part of the grid that is coming, you know, and it will change everything. So,
yeah.
but I don't know. It's very difficult to convince people that this goes beyond commercials, because that's what people, they think. Oh, it's it just means that I get commercials more suited to me, you know.
Yeah.
If it was only that, wouldn't be a problem with it. So no, it's
Yeah.
yeah. So, but you know, it's lost. It's truly it's lost. I have no hopes for this at all. People they are addicted to the smartphones. You know, it's quite obvious to see. If you
Yes.
take the smartphone away from people, they start doing this with their fingers. Have you seen that? Well, it's not so often you get to see it because they always have the smartphone there. It's like I can, you know, there's a woman in the neighborhood. She has a little child, a baby, and she goes out and does this, you know, with the baby. So baby will sleep in the, what do you call it? Call it? No, yes, and she's constantly, every time I see her, she's looking not at the baby but at the smartphone.
Same here. Everyone. That's normal in Australia.
So
Yeah.
that's not healthy.
It's not. It's
No.
not. You know, I've tried, because what I do occasionally, I go off Facebook for a couple of weeks and I go off Instagram and completely, and it is so relaxing. Seriously, it's like, ooh, and I can do so much more. And, you know, and
Yeah.
you know how this is when you can do much more, like, because you are entrepreneur and, you know, you do all these videos and you just do what you love doing. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Life is so different like that, isn't it?
Yeah. And now I'm quite new to not having a smartphone. It's been, I can't remember how many months now, but it's not a year. It's not been a year
Yeah.
since I threw away my smartphone. It's not been a year, but it's been a few months. And you're right, you get a lot of spare time. So when people tell me that, oh, I don't have any time, you know, I don't have the time to do this and that, and, well, do you have a smartphone?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the dogs. If you have a smartphone, you probably do have some extra time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And I don't know, like, I feel sometimes I think of something and it pops up on my phone. I don't even say it. And I'm like, can they listen to my thoughts? It's amazing. You know, it used to be whatever I'd say to someone, it would pop up on my phone. If I go shopping somewhere, and I look at the certain product, it would be in my phone, the same product, instantly.
Yeah, that's because the algorithms have begun to predict what you're going to do next based on your patterns, which is the, you know, it's the next big thing. When you're able to do that, you can overthrow governments. You can decide who wins elections.
Yeah.
You can completely, if you have the money, you know, if you're a big company, you can buy access to those data and have these number crushers make you a campaign so that you will certainly get your message to people when you need to get the message to people. It's those who believe that this is not going to change everything are very naive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sadly, I think people, they won't even notice that this is happening, you know.
Assange was big on that. He was trying to find, you know, they follow you, what you're doing, and they got all your information. Don't let it happen. And like, he was going to implement how to save yourself from that, and they shut him down instantly. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm on Google as a YouTuber. You know, YouTube is owned by Google, who is owned by Alphabet, I believe, and who knows who stands behind Alphabet and all that. But we do know that there are very few people making decisions when it comes to social media, you know, just a handful of people. So it's like, some people say that, well, you should quit YouTube then. Yeah, well, okay. I wouldn't get my message across. And people say, well, you should go to alternative platforms. Why are you not on alternative platforms? And well, if you go to my video descriptions, you will see I am. But people don't follow over to alternative platforms.
I tried that. No, it doesn't work. Yeah.
No. So people are not interested in that. So I can talk to, as a YouTuber, I can get 100,000 views on a video on YouTube, or I can get 500 views on, you know, BitChute, for instance. That's the reality.
And I don't know, someone said that actually Apple, they've got some new platform that's gonna be like competition through YouTube. So it's gonna be interesting. I don't like Apple and stuff. I just don't like their politics. But it seems it might be big competition to YouTube. So and YouTube is changing also the rules, and it's more strict, as you know. They took some of your stuff down, didn't they? You said.
Yeah, well, I've had my problems with YouTube, but yes, absolutely. And they do practice censorship in a way that they shouldn't. But also, this is where it gets complicated to some people. Because if you go to my comment section and you write, you're a XXX, you know, something nasty, and you know nothing. I will, if I see that, or any of my admins see that, they will delete that comment. Because you don't get to say that. If we see it, you will be deleted. Now, that's where people, they start saying, well, freedom of expression, you know, and I've been speaking out, you know, we need, is it freedom of expression? What do you call that, right? Freedom of
speech.
Speech, yes, exactly. Freedom of speech. So I'm fake since those comments get deleted. But here's the thing, you know, go and make your own channel on YouTube and say what you want there. It's like freedom of speech is the concept that everyone gets to speak without being shut down. But it doesn't mean that you can go into someone's house and say, you're a bastard. You know? But you can say that outside on the, you know, in the city square. So that's a, you know, there's a difference there. But yeah, there is heavy censorship now, and yes, there is heavy censorship. I think maybe Twitter is the worst right now. Twitter is also the most toxic environment.
Oh, totally.
I do not agree that these alternative platforms like I'm a Parler, or Parler, as the Americans say. And you know, some people have been saying, well, it's right-wing and extremists. And no, it's not. That's just nonsense. But Twitter is, you know, the most racist comments I've seen. I've seen them on Twitter back in the day when I was on Twitter, you know. I don't see that on platforms like Parler. And also I would add this, that these violent extremists, they've been streaming on Facebook, haven't they?
Yeah.
You know, in your part of the world is this guy who killed all those people in the mosque.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but he did that on Facebook, didn't he?
I think so, yeah. That's in New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going in good direction unless there is a new platform which is normal, like which is your stuff that you're sharing is really good influence, I find, on younger generations. And I find that your stuff gets watched by intelligent young people who really who can think for themselves. That's what I noticed. So people you can talk to, who have their own mind.
Yeah. It's very touching to me, you know, when I see comments from people and I understand that maybe they are young, insecure maybe, and they say that this video really helped me. Well, it touches me, you know, no matter which age the viewer has, of course, but there is something about touching or reaching a young person who's just starting out, finding his or her place and direction in life and so on. And hopefully I can be a positive influence to that person.
Yeah. Certainly with your honesty, and which is really needed nowadays, with your genuine like approach and to all of that, and that combination of like being like really relaxing, like having that fire which is kind of warm, cozy feeling, and going in the nature. There's nothing as beautiful as, you know, pointing people to go back to the nature. You know, we all came from the nature, we are the nature. And this
we need to go return to nature, connect with nature.
And thank you for that. And it's really, you know, helpful for lots of people, like rather than watching mainstream media, which like that makes you really upset and angry and violent.
Mainstream media is very, it has become propaganda now. You know, what I'm seeing in Norway is pure propaganda. And I told my kids, because I was coming out of the kitchen into the living room, and there was this you know, Corona news. I call it the news. I just call it the Corona news. And you know, I'm a literary person. My job has to do with words and sentences. And there is actually a genre. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, genre. Yeah.
Yeah, that is called propaganda.
Yeah.
And you can find it in Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union and North Korea, with its own, you know, typical ways of building the language and presenting the message and so on. And I was watching this on the news, and I just stood there for 1 minute or two, and I realized this is actually, it fulfills all the criteria for propaganda. And I told my kids, you are now watching proper propaganda. That's what it is. And from a literary perspective, you can't deny that, because it had all those trademarks of propaganda. So that I'm laughing, but it's actually quite sad. So yeah, and we're seeing that a lot now. When it comes to other issues, mainstream media is very divisive. I think it has to do with their need to get views, to get clicks. They present things in a very simplified manner.
Yeah.
And also they sprinkle it with a lot of fear mongering and hatred, and we saw that very clearly. I'm going to say his name now, Trump.
Yeah.
I'm saying that not as a big fan of Trump. You know,
Yeah.
I've always found him obnoxious, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But the way he was presented through 4 years was a proof that these people in mainstream media, they just couldn't make news anymore. It's like they forgot how to do it, because it was so subjective. You know, if he did anything wrong, either they didn't mention it, or they spinned it, you know, so that it was bad, you know. So the peace deals in the Middle East and all that, I remember how they presented that. It was not in a positive light, no. But now they are talking about it because he's gone, and now they had a news reporter down there, and it was presented like the best thing ever. He was not mentioned though.
Oh, wow, of course. Of course, yeah.
Of course. No, because he could not do anything good.
No.
He was just ugly and mean,
yes,
and all that. So yeah, it's and it's funny if now that I've said that, there will be people saying that, oh, you're a Trump fan then.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, because I feel similar. Like I don't have anything, I'm not pro or against. I don't watch television, you know, but I just, what I've seen, few things I've seen, I just laughed. It was funny.
Yeah, it made
to
me
me.
laugh
It
as
just,
well a
yeah,
lot of the time.
yeah. Amazing. Yeah. I just, he
but there
trips
was
over
a lot
himself.
of diversion going on there, high level diversion as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But you know, you're not, Bjorn, I don't know if you think this, if you think something similar, if you notice this, or is it just me? I don't know. People who were there before him, okay, Obama was probably, okay, good, pretty presentable, good looking guy, good behaved guy, like, you know, totally opposite to Trump. And there was a Bush, George W. Bush and his father, but no one seems to remember when they invented weapons of mass destruction, which was a lie, to start the wars. And when they invaded, apparently were invaded by bin Laden, who was from Saudi Arabia. They invaded Iraq instead of Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? Like, no one seems to get this. I'm like, am I stupid, or is it, I don't.
No, well, Obama is a perfect example because of all the, under his administration, the US got involved in lots of wars, and lots of civilians, women, children died because of that. Yeah. Now, I'm not an expert on international politics, but I'm just saying that I do remember these things happened. I also remember the surveillance that the American administration was responsible for. It was kind of funny because they found out that Angela Merkel was being, they listened to her phone. Why is nobody talking about that? I'm like this elephant, quite literally, elephant in the room. Elephant, good memory, you know. I remember this, and me too. You remember this?
Yeah, I told someone the other day.
Obama was not a good president. I'm just going to say it. He will not be remembered as a good president. Not for the internal economics side on it, not as when it comes to international affairs. We're not there yet that we can, you know, we can't really, the mainstream media won't admit that, but I think, you know, and don't get me started on this, on the Bush family, but, you know.
Bushcraft.
Yeah, well, Bushcraft I love. I don't love the Bush family so much.
Same.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. People tend to forget, like, these people like caused so many wars, so many people got killed, but just because they were not their children, you know, they still were someone else's children and civilians. They're still lives. That's how I see it, regardless where you are.
I will never forget, that was under the Bush administration. There was a kid in the Middle East, a boy. They dropped bomb there, the Americans.
Mm-hmm.
He lost both his arms.
Yeah.
And people can call me an extremist for saying that Trump's approach with talking, trading is better.
Mm.
But then you can call me an extremist. I don't care.
Mm.
Because I much prefer that solution to dropping bombs on people.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't like killings. Is not, you are not a good drawer by killing people. Like, it's about giving lives, not taking lives. I just don't get it. But anyway, people don't see it. Everyone's just brainwashed. People are
Yeah, and
brainwashed.
I don't support war. You know, I do understand that some, you know, if your country is invaded, you will have to defend yourself, and
Yeah.
it's not always that simple. But it seems like now we are into the politics thing. But Biden, you know, it's just the same
Yeah.
shit all over again.
Yes.
You know, dropping bombs.
Yeah.
Uh,
Instantly.
These are not decent people. These are not decent people. And people seem to think that, oh, they are so pro, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, pro everything woke, so they must be good.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. They are just career politicians, and they are used to this. This is their game.
Mm.
And I wish people
I just
would
want to
wake
say
up and
thank
see
you for
that.
doing this, really, and thank you for, you know, being good influence.
It was a pleasure to talk with you.
Yeah, it was really good to speak to you.